One of the cornerstones of power when it comes to Blue Lock is Sae Itoshi, a player who's a part of the new Generation 11 and is a midfielder praised as being one of the best under 20. And come the recent arc of Blue Lock, his brother Rin Itoshi is known as one of the best strikers under 20. They both reached such ridiculous levels of power at such young ages, and in this video I'm going to compare the two and see who's an overall better player, as well as who would win in their current forms if they fought back like they did in the U20 game. To begin, we'll start with Sae Itoshi because he has less showings of his power. Most of the feats that we get from Sae Itoshi are from the U20 game because that's the only game we see him in, and the other things that we get are just random statements from the manga. Sae Itoshi, for lack of a better term, is the anchor for the U20 Japan team. And what this means is that because Sae Itoshi is on the field, their attack patterns, defense patterns, and positions in general get boosted exponentially. This is because Sae's playstyle is an overall great player, helping to make his team excel rather than simply making himself look good. This is because Japan in general values teamwork over anything else, and doesn't allow people to thrive with their original abilities, forcing people who have immense potential to have this potential locked away forever. I go more in depth on this in my Sae Itoshi failed egos video, as well as my Japanese football is failing Blue Lock video, but I just wanted to establish what truly makes Sae Itoshi such an amazing midfielder. It's because he was forced into a position where he had to literally carry his team on his back, and he does the same thing in the U20 game. It doesn't seem like he's doing much at the beginning of this match, but as soon as he gets the ball, he shows off amazing passes and immediately gets the U20 team in a position to score, even faking out Blue Lock into thinking that they had actually defeated him. But like I said, Sae only got the U20 team into a position to score. They didn't end up scoring because Sendo ended up having his shot blocked by Gagamaru, but Sae Itoshi predicted this, and he was the first one to get to the ball. This is where Sae shows his amazing shooting skills, where he shoots a ridiculous drive shot from the left corner. This is something that even Blue Lock's #1 striker, Rin Itoshi, could not reproduce when he tried it. And it's not like Rin Itoshi's any stranger to curve shots similar to this one. This is showing that Sae Itoshi's shooting is still at a very high level, even in comparison to Blue Lock, who are making people meant to be true strikers. It's not just his passes that are good. His kicking techniques overall are just ridiculously high. Sae also has ridiculous vision and is implied to have metavision by Isagi in the Neo Eagles League, which would make sense considering how much his plays surpass the Blue Lock 11 team, even when they have people with ridiculous spatial awareness on their team such as Rin Itoshi, Isagi, and even Nico, all players who ended up getting metavision in the Neo Eagles League. He also has an eye for scoring goals, as he mentioned to Sendo that he could have scored 3 separate times, but stopped himself to give the U20 team some time. Sae also has amazing dribbling techniques, being able to not only beat Rin but also beat Bachira and Isagi at the same time. After he beats them, he passes the ball up to Sendo, but the pass was blocked by Rin, who saw the whole thing coming. However, Sae already knew this and was in position to shoot the ball immediately. Now this may be a stretch, but this could be an implication that Sae has knowledge of protagonism. If you don't remember, protagonism is something that Isagi found in the Manshine City match, where being able to tell somebody's mental state and why they make the plays that they do gives you an even higher level of prediction on the field. He was able to use this to allow Yukimiya to score his final goal, and it set his own value with the pass from him. At the level that he's at, I wouldn't be surprised if he lured Rin in, knowing that Rin would intercept it, just to attempt to get the shot off. But aside from possible knowledge of protagonism, he most likely does have metavision. Not only does Isagi say that most pros probably have it, and specifically points out Sae as someone who probably does have it, but Sae is also ridiculously good at staying out of people's field of vision. He does this to Isagi in the U20 game right before he was almost inevitably gonna score, and ends up destroying him with the shortest possible route. But his vision doesn't stop at just metavision, as he also has abilities similar to Shido, where he sees somebody's plays once and immediately knows a counter to it. Shido did this back in his match with Ryo and Kunigami, downloading their abilities immediately after just one play. And Sae does something similar to Isagi, destroying his direct shot instantly. All of the things I mentioned up until now have been before Sae Itoshi even began taking this game even remotely serious. After Sae switches up a gear, he completely changes his playstyle from waiting for the U20 team to make their own passing options, to making his own passing options by destroying Blue Lock itself. He's able to do this with his dribbling style, which is a counteractive style of dribbling, waiting until his opponents make a wrong move and launching in the opposite direction, destroying them, allowing him to clear Blue Lock's defenses flawlessly. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that Rin was able to keep up with some of Sae's plays even after he shifted to a higher gear, but as soon as Sae realized this, he simply shifted up again and ended up almost having Shido score, if not for Isagi. Overall, this game just goes to show how Sae Itoshi truly excels at everything that he does. Being a prodigy who got an offer from Real Madrid at a very young age and had years of training overseas, and even though we do know Sae has metavision, we don't know what level his metavision is at, which makes it a little bit harder for us to scale. But now we can move on to Destroyer Rin. Now, because Destroyer Rin is simply a better version of the base form of Rin, let's quickly discuss what Rin does in the New Eagles League. Now, first and foremost, he is the highest valued in Blue Lock and the #1 bid, with his bid being 198 million. His shot taking abilities are at a ridiculously high level, as Loki comments on, saying that he scores most of the goals that he takes and should end up taking more, in contrast to Shido, who takes too many goals and misses too much. He's also shown interesting defensive capabilities, being able to stop the Kaiser impact and steal the ball from under him. After that, he continues to completely destroy the Germany team's defense, and as soon as Rin got to a position to score, Isagi and Kaiser both came out of nowhere and attempted to stop him. But not only do they both fail to stop him, he ends up picking Isagi up into the air with him and shooting. And if we're being completely honest here, he did beat both Isagi and Kaiser, but he didn't end up scoring because he already stopped the ball. Now obviously there are two forms of Destroyer Rin. There's the Rin in the U20 game and of course the current Rin. But it is important that we bring up Rin's power in the U20 game and how he did against Sae Itoshi. Rin in his Destroyer form was able to completely keep up with Sae in a match that I can't describe as anything more than high level. But not only did Rin keep up with Sae, he ended up beating him, getting the ball away from his feet, and allowing Isagi to score the final goal. And this is a really important feat for this Rin that I'll explain more in depth on later. But for now, let's switch back to current time. Because of Isagi, Rin was able to tap into his true ego and tap into the Destroyer mode once again. With this form, he's shown the ability to easily destroy the Germany team's defenses and even get in position to score a goal. However, he stopped himself because he believed that it wouldn't lead to his evolution. What he truly wants to do is find the strongest enemy and destroyed them along with himself. Not only is Rin stronger in this form than he was in the U20 game, but this is also a higher level of the Destroyer form, because just as Isagi says, he's striving for a greater height than he was before. This Rin is something that even Isagi can't comprehend with his logic. This is the same Isagi who prior to this match was confident that he could see and visualize the keys to becoming the best in the world. But this Rin and his talent completely destroyed this visualization. Ever since Isagi got Metavision, this is one of the only times that he's truly been outclassed and unable to see the plays that are coming next. This Rin actually forces Isagi himself to evolve. This evolution of Isagi led to Rin evolving even more and realizing how much he enjoys the game of soccer, similar to how Isagi did in the beginning of the Blue Lock facility. Rin is so strong at this level that even Kaiser and Isagi one-on-one can't stop him. They have to add up both of their individual abilities together and get a chemical reaction just to stop a goal of Rin's. But with both of the characters scaling out of the way, we can now go to comparing them directly and seeing who is truly stronger. And now in my opinion, I think one of the main themes of this arc is allowing for people like Rin and Isagi to get to the level of the new Generation 11. This is why we got to see Isagi's development alongside Kaiser, giving us a direct comparison from what level Sae should be at, or at least around that, to where Isagi and the others would stack up to. And I think that not only has the narrative shown us that they had caught up to that level or similar levels to it, but that they've maybe even surpassed it. Now this has been shown to us on multiple instances, but one of the most obvious ones I can think of is where Rin says that he's sure that he can beat Sae if he's able to control his urges like he did back then, giving us a direct statement that current Destroyer Rin should be above Sae. And this doesn't stop at just Rin. This should also go for Kaiser and Isagi at this point in time. This is because it's implied throughout the entire arc that the three are in some type of deadlock, whether it be because Isagi's saying that they're playing something like rock, paper, scissors and stopping each other at the perfect times, or the chapter cover of chapter 287 having them in a literal deadlock. As overall players, Rin, Isagi, and Kaiser seem to all be on around the same level, with Isagi being the only one strong enough to make Rin undergo transformation, when Rin was looking for somebody specifically stronger than Sae. And to link this back to the U20 game, I find it pretty interesting how Rin was actually able to keep up and even beat Sae in a one-on-one. And in a pretty recent interview with the creator of Blue Lock, it is stated that Sae was beginning to get serious at the end of the game. So it's not even like we can say that Sae was completely holding back or he wasn't trying at all. He was obviously trying to some extent, even to the extent where we see his literal aura coming off, which is something we don't see very often, unless someone is shown to be trying most of the time. This blatantly shows that this Rin, who was leagues worse than what he is now, was still able to keep up with Sae's plays, even while he was trying to some extent. And with Isagi being able to be the placeholder for having Rin evolve, which needs a player stronger than Sae to be done, as well as Kaiser, who before his evolution should be on the same level as Rin, given they're both in the new Generation 11, or at least close to each other in power, getting completely destroyed by Rin, and Rin being able to still keep up with his evolved form, it's pretty clear that Rin is supposed to be on the same level as the new Generation 11, or even a little bit above. But of course, the ranking in Blue Lock is always changing, and I wouldn't be surprised if either we don't know Sae's full power, or if he just gets massively stronger. But in my opinion, if they were to have a one-on-one fight just like they did in the U20 match, Rin would win this time just like he did before, and it wouldn't be off of pure luck, it would be on skill alone. However, the question of who I'd want on my team if I were picking a team is a completely different question in itself. If your goal was solely to make a team wildly better with just adding one player, I think that Sae Itoshi is still an amazing answer over Rin, just because of how much he can evolve a team itself. Rin does have a similar ability to this, like he shows in the second selection arc, but this ability obviously isn't where Rin excels, whereas it is where Sae excels. So as a midfielder, obviously Sae beats him, and he should be taken over Rin if you're trying to make a really good team by just adding a singular player. But overall, it depends on what you need for the team. If you're missing a midfielder, obviously pick Sae. If you're missing a striker, obviously pick Rin. Not even close.